Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Lewis Speaks 2024, and right now I want to talk to y'all about relational hopelessness. We live in an age where there is an epidemic of loneliness, and this epidemic of loneliness is followed by an epidemic of relational hopelessness. A lot of people these days just don't believe in relationships anymore. They don't believe in love, they don't believe in romance. You can barely find a date these days. And I'm thinking, what is the cause of that? It's just so many failed attempts at even a date. Nobody wants to date. Everybody just wants to screw. Nobody wants to dignify you with a date, dignify you with care and concern. They just want to use you. They just want to use your parts. These apps these days, people talk to you any kind of way. They wouldn't talk to you all crazy like that if they were in person. But these apps, they provide you with an electronic mask and they provide you with an electronic shield. And you got people who just disrespect you and feel like they could just talk to you any kind of way. And you know that they would not do that if they were in front of you. You know that. They wouldn't have the gumption to do that. But I guess the apps give people a level of audacity that is really disquieting. It's disgusting. The dating pool is nothing but a cesspool these days. You can't find anybody who's legit, anybody who wants to dignify you with a loving exchange. Everybody just wants to use you, as I mentioned before. So it's just like we're currently in this epidemic of relational hopelessness. Nobody wants to be faithful. Nobody wants to treat you right. Intimacy is at an all-time low. I don't know what the answer is. I don't have the answer. I just feel like this is a wave in our developmental history as a generation. We all have to ride out particular waves, historical waves. You got to ride it out. I know back in the 80s, it was no better, but at least you got a drink. Dudes offered to buy a drink for you. The ladies, they were more feminine, they were more graceful, they would have more dignity about them. But now it's to the point where everybody is trying to be like these rappers who showcase their body and their parts. Nobody wants to just be decent anymore. There's just no form of decorum. No form of decorum or self-love or self-respect. People just don't respect themselves anymore. And I think a lot of it is fatigue. A lot of people are tired of just holding on to their morality while everybody else seems to be having all this fun and all this good time. Like, we live in a generation where the hoe is celebrated. All the hoes are basically put up on pedestals. The prostitutes, the one who basically just live reckless lifestyles, they're the ones who are they get their own reality TV shows, they get record deals, they get notoriety. But the ones who are good, the ones who are demure, the ones who are, morally chaste, they get ignored. They're treated like they're invisible. And it's unfair, it's disgusting. But at the same time, this is what we have to work with. So I don't know what to do in this climate, except when you're not getting the love that you deserve, you have to just go into hibernation. You have to practice, I would say, intentional solitude. You have to definitely practice intentional celibacy, and purposeful celibacy, purposeful solitude. You have to recline and recluse back into yourself, because people out here, they're just not acting right. They're not giving you no act right. So you just forget it. Forget it. And it leads to a form of relational hopelessness. You just feel like, I'll never get what I deserve. I'll never get the person that I deserve. So you just like forget it. I'll just focus on other pursuits because at this moment in time, it's not coming through. Eric Erickson, he came up with some psychosocial stages of development. And oftentimes, people between the ages of 18 and 40, they are trying to negotiate the isolation versus intimacy stage. And this isolation versus intimacy stage is really difficult to negotiate right now because a lot of people just don't want to treat you right. So oftentimes people veer towards isolation because intimacy is not a possibility. It's not happening. So you're just like, whatever, forget it. you know? And so in the meantime, between time, people have decided to focus on other things like their career, focus on family, focus on friendship, if you can find that these days too, because there's also a drought there, you know? Relational hopelessness also applies to platonic friendships because now your friends want to act a fool. Nobody wants to be consistent. Everybody's depressed. Everybody is just, you just throw it up. You throw your hands up. You're just like, ah. So then you go back to focusing on yourself because you realize that it's a waste of time to focus on people. People don't ever pan out. All they do is waste your time, and then you're basically feeling all this disappointment, animosity, resentment. You don't need that negative energy. So you just go back into your own cocoon and you hibernate and you focus on educating yourself, elevating yourself, focus on career, focus on family, focus on your spirituality. And maybe that's the key. Focusing on your spirituality, getting your spirit clean. And then you'll be able to attract another clean spirit because everybody's spirit is dirty these days. There's a lot of dirty spirits. Dirty spirits. Dirty, filthy spirits. They're infected with the spirit of this world. Public spirits that don't really want private love. They don't want a private love. They want community love. Everybody gets it. Everybody can have it. I'm looking for a private Sunday kind of love. That's what I'm looking for. A Sunday kind of love. A spiritual love. A love that is restorative. A love that is just for me. Not community penis, community vagina. And people, they become community penis and community vagina because they feel hopeless. They just feel like, look, waiting for the person that I deserve, I'll be waiting here till I'm old and gray. It'll be time to die before I find the man or woman of my dreams. So they're just like, whatever. They want to get themselves a little piece of life in between. But like I said, I guess what has to happen is people have got to start working on the spirit. Work on the spirit. Maybe that's what we have to do. Maybe that's a karmic lesson. Our karmic task is to work on the spirit. Is to become whole karmically and cosmically. Who knows? I throw it up. Really, because at this point, I don't care about relationships like I once did. I realized that I used to invest so much energy. I used to be a serial dater. Now I'm just like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. You can have it. Because it's just too much effort. You waste so many years invested in people. 4 years here, 5 years here, 2 years here. It's a chunk of your life. And then you wake up and you realize I have nothing to show for it except war wounds, bitterness, bad memories, craziness. It's just, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And of course, you also have some good memories and great times, but is it ever worth the hell that you go through in relationships? I could have done without a lot of the drama that I put myself through. If you want to know the truth, I could have done without it. But I did it. I had to go through it, I guess, in order to pick up a couple of tools. So that's what we have to go through. We have to basically just go through the relational hell, although it's not mandatory. You don't have to go through it. I think a lot of people choose to go through it, because they're looking for partnership. But it's about also screening people and being more selective. And that's what I learned. Because when I was younger, the only requirement was availability. Are you available? Now I'm looking for something more spiritual and compatible. As you get older, you realize that you have to have common values, common beliefs, common principles that you abide by. You also have to have a common governing body. And when I say that, I mean that you have to have a common source that you rely upon. For me, that's God. We have to have the same God. Because for one, I'm asking you to pray for me. I don't know what God you're praying to. You could be praying to the devil for all I know. That's why you have to be very careful about asking people to pray for you, because you don't know what God they're praying to. Do you pray to the same God that I believe in? Because if you don't, I don't know how effective your prayers are going to be for me. So, just a lot of food for thought, I'm just tired of these relationships, So, I opt to enjoy my singleness and to be successfully single, because it's peace of mind. Success is having peace of mind. At the end of the day, when all is put away, when the careers, the trophies, the plaques, the awards are put away, what do you have left? You have left your conscience. Can you, in good conscience, enjoy your life when you know that you have done so many things that were awful to get the awards, the accolades? When you have betrayed your own conscience, your own spirit, can you be fully happy? No. At the end of the day, you realize peace of mind is its own reward, is the best reward. Peace of mind, a good, clean conscience. That is the reward right there. All these plaques, all these external symbols of validation, keep it. I want to have a good conscience. That's my award. That's my trophy. My trophy is my good conscience and a good relationship with my Heavenly Father. If I'm in good standing with God, that is the best trophy, because everything else is fleeting. You think about all the stars that won these trophies, these Oscars, these Emmys. Where does it go when they die? It goes to a museum where it's exhibited, maybe, at best, or it goes in somebody's dumpster. So it's just, what's the point? I say build a life that you can be proud of. Live your life in a way that makes you immortal in the eyes of God. Live your life in a way that makes you immortal in the eyes of God, because that's the only one that will write your name down in the book of life. And that right there is the best reward. Being remembered by somebody who is the master of eternity. Being remembered by somebody who is the author of eternity. That is the best reward. So, I hope this video lands in your hearts. If you are looking for a relationship, good fortune. I don't know what to tell you. So, I hope that you definitely find it. Much love. This is Lewis Speaks. Peace, y'all.